Welcome to the Trading Lounge and the Indices report, and starting with the Australian market and also starting with Commonwealth Bank, because Commonwealth Bank is one of our leading banks and it really helps direct the ASX 200, our index. So we've got the 4-hour chart here, and from the top here we've been counting down, and I may have the wrong count here, but I wouldn't be far off in one way or another, just particular degrees and so forth. But what I do know is that this particular correction here is a typical corrective pattern. So we've got the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave. That's what we're looking for, and we're looking for a move down through to here, taking that low out here, which will bring us into the 80. It'll be interesting to see if there's any buying orders or short covering going on. I'm sure there's some stops under this low here. So, but either way, what will occur is that we'll be looking for 5 waves down through to here. Yes, it may come further down, maybe into the 78, whatever, but at some point we'll see a corrective move back up roughly to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, and then another move down from that point there. So this is really going to have an influence on the ASX 200. Okay, so with the ASX 200, we had a possibility, and it's still there too, you know, it's a possibility that we had a wave 4 in at this low here, but this sharp move down here has really destroyed our little impulse wave up here, because we could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here, and I thought, okay, well, we're heading in the right direction, you know, and then we started to get an impulse wave up here, but because that's dropped through here, then it really destroys this particular structure of being an impulse wave here as such. Now, it's probably, you know, it's on its 50-60% retracement level here at the moment in that little space. So we can expect some support here, but a clean move through this here really puts us on the right track of, well, this market being, well, if it moves straight up from here, then we can consider it being a wave 1, and I'll just have to give this a lot of thought to see how it can work. But you know, it's probably more typical that this 4th wave is rather in play now, and or it could be a wave B as well, in terms of, because we've got material sector sort of, you know, being quite positive in a way, but there's a real good chance that the material sector can collapse from where it is at the moment too. So we might even look at some short trades there and see how they develop. But this can be the A wave down here, and this can be a B wave back up through to here, or wave 4 here, a B wave in orange rather, and then another move down through to here. However, I think that it's the wave 4. And we're looking down here, and this A wave doesn't have to be an A wave either, but just for the sake of counting, that's fine for the time being. But this is certainly under pressure, and it's under pressure from the banking sector. So yeah, any retracement here, if it moves up here and it moves up on lower volume, then you can look for the short trade. If it moves up on higher volume, if there's increasing volume in the bars going up here in whatever time frame, then you know that you're going to be continuing higher there. But yeah, with that CBA, the bias is much lower, so it's possible to have a wave 2 here, but I would imagine that this is going to fall out of bed from here, and that's going to give us new lows in play here, because originally we're counting this low here as 1 and 2, 3rd wave and 4th wave and 5th wave, and that was all good. And then a retracement here, and we're looking for the next move up here, and all that was fine. But yeah, I mean, as it stands at the moment, it can be an A and a B and a C wave finishing here and moving up from here. It's just that I'm not sure how to count this as 5 wave structure here. It doesn't really fit. Even if I didn't include that here, and I had that here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, well, this, you know, this doesn't have the right look about it. So we're in a bit of a bearish mode. So we've got US markets and European markets moving up, but this market here is just not in the same pattern. Okay, US markets, very simple. What we've got is we've we're from on this 2-hour chart, we've been counting 5 waves up, the 1 and the 2 and the 3, and we're looking for wave 4 yesterday, and we're looking for wave 5. So when we get 5 waves here, that can be the completion of this, and it can roll over from here, okay, because we're looking at a larger ending diagonal triangle, which will be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave ending here. Now, so if you're long, then after 5 waves from this previous low here, you want to be wanting to get out from that point. However, after a session or two, if the 2130 develops support, then we're going higher from that point. Okay, and that's quite possible as well, because the European markets have got further to move to the upside as well, and their structure is well, it's kind of confirming that they will, you know, make new highs, and when I look at the Nasdaq as well, and some of the stocks in the Nasdaq, we can have a look at Apple and so forth on our way through today, but they've got further to go up as well. And when I'm looking at Apple, we're looking at this being wave 1, this being wave 2, this being wave 3, 4, and 5 here. That's how I'm sort of seeing the tech stocks. But anyway, in this 4th to 5th wave here, this is what it's looking like. We've got the wave 4 here, we've got an A and a B and a C wave. Then we've got up for 1, back for 2. So we can look at wave 3 coming into 2130, wave 4 pulling back to that little low into there, the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, and then wave 5 up being roughly the same length as this one here, and probably failing to find support on 2133, the top of a group 1 in there. So that's all pretty simple from that point. And yeah, so just on the 5-minute chart here, we've got wave 1 and 2. And I mean, I've labeled this as 1 and 2 here, and all this is the 3rd wave and the 4th wave, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So we've got an extension, the 5th wave, but yeah, a little bit unusual. So it might just be the 3rd wave extending further. Do you know what I mean? So when I come back from, let me just go back a bit further. When we're looking in blue wave 2 here to blue wave 3 here, we should see this whole structure extending. So maybe we're seeing that a little bit, but I won't be bullish until we've got a nice test of support on 2130 there. But either way, from here we can expect move to 2130, of course, and back to here, and then up here. Once it gets up there, the routine, the classic trading levels pattern, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, then an A and a B and a C here. And then we can look at what we've got from that point. But the Nasdaq stuff is up like that, so that's what we'll be looking at. But if we can work out if we get a corrective move here, then we know where we are. Dow Jones, same, wave 3, A, B, C for wave 4, up for 1, back for 2. You can see that it's a bit sort of struggling here a little bit. So I haven't pulled this apart here, but it doesn't matter that much, because we'd be working with 300, number 300 here. This is also the top of group 1, so this is also really important as a support as well. Yeah, the wave structure within here is all a bit skewed and messy, so I'm not going to worry about it. But the main point is that, we'll be looking for a high above here, then there'll be a corrective pattern here, and then you look for support, and then up from that area there. So, but the trend is up. That's the main point there. The Nasdaq, this is Apple here. You can see the same sort of thing with and we looked at, I'll start here, but basically wave 4 here, then 1 and 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here for the 3rd wave here, be the 4th wave here, and the 5th wave up through to here. Now, I've put wave 1 there. That may not be the case. We may have a top in play there, but I just keep things. I got to have all counts on the table at all, all the time here. This is what we do in this day ahead report. We try and look at all the possible, put them on the table and eliminate them one by one. So We'll just leave that there for the time being here. This market has moved up past the 61 8-point retracement level, so the likelihood of this being an A wave, a B wave, and 5 waves for the C wave is a little bit limited. Possible, but once again we've got a this is number 3 here, 130. So it's a minor level, and if we get support on minor group 1 here, then we can look at 150 to the upside. So I think that's exciting, but we need to go one step at a time. And what will happen here is we'll get wave 3, 4 and 5 here, then an A and a B and a C wave coming through here. Then we need to be looking for support on here, and then we'll go into a third wave to the upside here, if that's going to be the case here. And we'll know that in due course here as we see this unfold through here. This wave 5 technically should make a high above, well, I'm not into spikes that much, but above here anyway. Let me just have a look in here. This is the tech stock here, the NASDAQ US Tech 100 cash. So we'd been looking at this as an A and a B and a C. I finally labelled it here. And 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And then the 4th wave here and the 5th wave. It's good to look at these other markets because it just really helps us confirm what's going on with, with the S&P 500 and, and whatnot, because, yeah, it just makes it easier. So, we know that you can hold long because we know we've got a 3-wave structure here. So we know we're going to be taking these tops out here. So we can be looking at, maybe 4650 or something of that nature further up here. Yeah, further up there, further. Yeah, so that's good. The stock 50, the European stocks are a little bit sluggish and they're correcting deeply. So they really haven't got that. They haven't got their own buying happening yet. The heavy corrections here, they're checking the market depth much deeper rather than the 61.8 retracement levels. They were coming back into the sort of 70 and 80 sort of areas. So we just need to be a little bit mindful. But the good news is that, if the European markets are lagging, then they're going to catch up at some point as the tech stocks in the US, race to the upside and the S&P and that follow. So if you've got money in the US, that's fine. But at some point you can start feeding some back into these markets, and the timing for that would be the 3600 here as a tested support. That would be a confirmation that we're going to be in a bullish pattern from that point there. Because as it stands at the moment, I've never really been keen on this particular move up here. It's always sort of bugged me as being a corrective pattern to the upside here. And you could certainly get 5 waves out of this move down through here. Not a very good 5 waves. But so basically an A wave, even a B wave and a C wave ending here. But we'll see. So let's just drill in here a little bit. Okay, this is the 3600 here. So just going back here a little bit. So that little tiny move up here, we want support on the 3600, and this is how it's going to play out. So we've got wave 1 and 2 in here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the 3rd, the 4th. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So at 3600, we're going to see a corrective move that can come back to the 35, 60 sort of area here. It may not. We've got group 2 there as well here. So we've got 80, 72 in there and 65 in here. So that's the real support. That would be where the most volume is turned over. So it should stay within group 2. So we can expect a move up there, but expect a move back and then a move up here. And even when it moves up there for the next time around too, we'd have to look at that as 5 waves and a corrective move back here. So it's going to be a bit of a slog, but once we get support on here, then we've got a move to the upside from that point. So that brings us into the DAX. It's got the same pattern as well, and we're looking at you know, the other side to this, of course, is that, you know, the whole move down through here can be, you know, can be viewed as a corrective three-wave pattern here as well. I'm aware of that. So that can make it the whole thing a flat pattern. So we have an A and a B and a C wave up to the, you know, 1200 here, and then a C wave back down through to here. I don't think that's the case, but we'll, you know, we need to keep that on the table there. But as it stands, we've got up for one, back for two, up for one, back for two, up for one, two. Let's just drill in here now. So from wave 2 here, we've got wave 1, and we've got wave 2 here. You know, we did have wave 2 here, but you can, as you can see, you've got a 3-wave pattern here and back again, and this is across all the markets. And yeah, so up for wave 1 here. The 60, if it reaches the old high here, then the 50-60% retracement levels at 11.5. So we started to think, you know, the idea was to start to be long, you know, above this particular level here, the 11,500, because it's a medium level, and you know, this will be the final test of it here. You know, so this is where you can start, you know, moving into the long side all the way up through to here, and staying long up to the 1200, because even if it's a corrective pattern, we're still looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to the upside. So just drilling in here a little bit. I've pulled this apart here. It's much the same as the other markets in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into here at 11,650, 65 number, very important. An A and a B and a C coming back into this area through here, and then moving up from that area through there. So yeah, getting there, get the perfect setup is coming into play, which will be the corrective move back into this space. It may not come all the way back here, so I mean, this is a strong number 2, so just be mindful of that as well. But you know, you need to start building in contracts, keep them so small they're not, you not forget about them, but you know, they're not going to bother you having a few nights sleep. The FTSE's in a slightly different pattern, but also the same as well. And obviously this market is tackling the 7,000 and hasn't really developed support there just yet. It's still resistance, but when it is support in your eyes, and trading above it is not support, it's the retest. The breakout's important, but the retest is more important. And if you can read volume and bring that into the equation, then the volume will confirm the price action. But essentially, we're looking for a move up here now, because we've got everything in place. The accumulation process has given us the support across this area through here. So we should see the building process through here. Yeah, so anyway, that's that. You can trade long now, but the safe trade is on 7,000 as a tested support, of course. I don't think I've got anything smaller in there. Yes, I do. So wave 1, an A and a B and a C. I thought that this was wave 2 here. Sorry about that, but that's just life. It just got a bit bigger than expected. But this is all working now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 will bring us up here. There will be some sort of corrective pattern back again into group 2 here. 65, 72 and 80. These things move a little bit. Anyway, you got the gist. And yeah, so a move to here, back again, and then up from there after we get 5 little waves up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, the AEX is in the same position as well. It also had a deeper retracement as well for its wave 2. But once again, everything is really on track here to move higher. So all pretty exciting sort of stuff, really. So we're looking at, let's just drill in here a little bit, but you know, all the same as well, we're looking at 500's the balance line in this correction, and we're retesting supply now, coming back up into it, so we can't expect any fast moves up through here. but all the same, we are moving into a series of third waves here. So we've got wave two. This will move up here. We'll go into 491 roughly, and then pull back. So it'll be up for 1, back for 2 here, and then up for 3. So it'll be the third of the third going into here. So it should move really reasonably quickly in this little leg through here. And once again, we're looking up at up at 530, but we'll count our way up there rather than hold a target. If you're 525, 530. So this is how it looks. So we've got up for wave 1 here, back for wave 2, up for wave 1, back for wave 2, and then we're in wave 3 up to 500. That's where we are here. And just on the intraday here, this is the same pattern as the other markets. So we're looking up into 491 roughly, and then we're looking for some type of correction back here. The 50-60% retracement levels down here from 491. It could go higher. You'd have to pull that apart to work that out. But after this correction here, then it's, if it does drop below the 490, that's good, because next time it gets up there, and it'll be a pattern like this, a classic trading levels pattern or a variation of it, as arrival, reaction, first high above the level, retest. The retest can come lower through here, but then eventually getting support on there. So, and once you've got support on 493 on top of 3, which is group 1, then the order flow separates from the 490, and we'll be looking to the next largest number, which will be 495 and of course 500. Alrighty, okay, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.